I mean, and I knew that you were older and stuff. Like, yo, listen, the name rang bells, man. Even up in Hartford, I'm from Hartford originally. You know what I'm saying? I came down to New Haven later. So,
okay,
in like the mid '90s. So but I was up in Hartford. And it's like everybody knew who the fuck Dooley-O was, man. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it's very important for me, like we've crossed paths, we chilled out, we smoked L's and stuff, but we never like linked on some like building shit. I got questions I need to have answered. So this is important for me on some like, you know what I'm saying, CT shit, but on some like historical shit to get some facts right about some things. You know what I mean?
all right. Can I just get a quick second? I see you doing your thing. I need my little drinky drink real quick.
Do what you gotta
right,
do.
Give me a quick second.
Quick
Hold
second.
on.
We got cannabis wilding out. Go ahead.
What up, Ben Louise? That's my boy right there, Ben. That's Ren from CT.
My attitude is to watch and observe the magnitude. It's a hostile. What is the next possible move? Wait until conditions improve. Listen to me, dude. Don't let it affect the morale. You miss your moves. Cannabis, subliminous, Mr. Ubiquitous. Getting busy for big pun and this little one, Christopher. Little Christopher, big brother, bitch, take you to the cinema to show you how hard body Godzilla was. Once upon a time, top hip hop, grass, supreme high beat that ass. John Deere in the headlights, bleeding in the grass. First pass, low altitude, high density mass. See how my symphony's intensity lasts. Hold your breath, cousin. Ignite the gas, spit it all out fast. Run all night, we can outlast. They say correlation is not causation, but rather a revelation. Happenstance of benevolence, nature to stop it. I like to touch in Abu Dhabi with a bad Spanish mommy and Formula One Ferraris for my king now.
Recent cannabis from like a couple years ago, like last year. Niggas still doing shit, and that's why this is important to me, man. Like, because cats are still doing stuff and cats are still holding it down, but because it's not the same way it was, you got to really search and dig. And I mean, people thought Camp Lower was retired. I'm like, yo, Geechee Suede is killing shit. Like, are you crazy?
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
They have at least something like in the past, like last 2 years, I end up running into a video or something, and you know, I'm a huge Camp Low fan. I mean, I told the other cats, be like, man, I never knew what them niggas was talking about. I said, because you didn't watch the movies. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't about Sonny Chiba. You wasn't about Foxy Brown. You wasn't about, you know, all these great movies like, you know, Black Godfather and all them other crazy movies, man, from the 70s, you know, so them
Right.
Black 70s. So you wouldn't understand Camp Low until you watch tons of those cinemas and be like, oh, I see what you're talking about.
I get it. And shout out to the God Planet Asia, because he was telling me, he was like, yo, when you chill with them niggas, he's like, that's the shit they be on. Like he's like, even when you with, he's like, that's their vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when you, like, no matter what, that's just how they rock. So yeah, we got Dooley-O here. So, and as I said, it was funny. I was like, oh, this cat's 7 years older than me. So it really explains to me why every time I've ever heard you spin, anytime I've heard any of your music, that shit is funky. There's funky shit. And I realized, okay, this cat's older. He grew up on the real shit. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas other cats may have grown up on like 80s hip hop, you grew up on the shit that became late 70s, early hip hop, if I'm not mistaken, right? That makes
right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So early foundations for you, man. What was it like? Because you a vinyl head.
Yo,
like, you be pulling out shit out your ass every time. You know what I'm saying? Every time I hear, like,
you know what's crazy is that it wasn't Ma Duke's record collection.
Oh, I know what it was. Go ahead.
It wasn't Ma Duke's record collection. You know, I mean, my father, he can't dance. He showed me that like about maybe like 10, 15 years ago. I saw him dance for the first time, and I was like, I don't know where you getting them moves from. He looked like Dr. Detroit on the dance floor.
Watch my moves.
So, you know, it was hip hop, man. You know, being young, growing up to New York as a kid, because I got family on 113th and 5th Avenue, and the projects right there. Coming outside one day as a youngster and just seeing somebody rapping on the mic, and it blew me away. So I came back home, was like, yes, y'all, to the beat, y'all. And that
how old were you?
What Sugar Hill came out in what, 78?
79, 78, 79, yeah.
79. So you figure I was 77, 78 around that time. So I had to be around like
8, 9, right?
8, 9, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 around that time. You know what I mean? And then actually seeing my older brothers in them doing parties, playing, you know, Frisco disco, seeing the Frisco disco record as a kid, you know, Disco Airlines, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like watching them do their thing while hip hop was bubbling before it came on the radio and stuff like that. So I got the taste, I got injected with the pure hip hop medicine at a younger age before Rappers Delight. I remember there was a blue tape by this dude named Charlie Rock, and my brother and them had it, and it was incredible. Like, it was just like with the echo chamber, you know, on and on to the break of dawn, 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 dawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that stuff is just like, I'm still like, I always say like to people today, I said, man, somebody old school should come out with a dope beat and do them old school ass rhymes, and they might turn around and kill the game, start it back all over again. You may never know what can happen.
Yo, so you were at some park jams early on as a kid.
Yeah, a lot of Connecticut park jams. You know, I didn't get into a lot of the clubs, but I got into some of them. You know what I'm saying? And my craziest experience was watching you know, one of my heroes down here, Joey D. And Joey D was a well-known DJ down here. And he pulled out, you know, I saw him really spinning the first time in the park, and he pulled out like the drum machine, the lid drum, and started hitting on it. Boom, 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 like in the park. And I was just like, I wasn't even doing graffiti at the time. So I know
what part of New Haven you from?
I'm from the Hill. I'm from the Hill, right by the train station, and before that, the spot called the Bridge, over off Kimberly Avenue. Originally grew up in the Bridge, got my music taste from the Bridge at Mr. Faye's record store. Used to be a record store up the street with an old school guy named Faye's, and he used to tell everybody, take it to the Bridge, sonny, take it to the Bridge. Every time somebody be beefing, old Italian be like, take it to the Bridge. But he had nothing but flavors. I remember I bought super rhymes out of that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Did you start out in this culture rhyming, or was it making beats, DJing? Like, I mean, because the thing is, you rock with practically all the elements. So what was it? So was it the rhyming first? Did you start out, you know, spitting your little shit first like that?
Yeah. I was rhyming, but was nothing serious. You know what I'm saying? Just like at the same time when rhyming starting to like, maybe I can get kind of serious with it.
Right.
Saw graffiti for the first time and was like kind of stuck. I didn't like it, but then I saw something else the next day that was tight, and I was like, yo, I want to do that. So those two things was rubbing up against me. But plus at the time, breaking had exploded. So, you know, everybody, you drive down the street and people, every other corner, somebody was spinning on cardboard or something like that. I had to do that, but the only problem with breaking was I wasn't nice enough. You know what I mean? I was okay, but and then watching Steezo at the time, because he was really nice with it. You know what I'm saying? So watching him break, he was like, man, I ain't nice, man. I ain't getting nice. And then when I got nice, it was over with. Niggas wasn't breaking on cardboard no more.
Right. I mean, it was different. So you was part of. That's the thing. I didn't realize this until recently. I'm like, yo, this cat was a part of like you saw the beginning of this shit. You're old enough to remember the beginning, the early beginnings of the. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously the lyrics really evolved and changed. I mean, from like that call and response type stuff a little bit, you know what I mean? So for you as a head, I mean, I have a certain year, an album kind of like, when did the lyricism, when did things change in hip hop? Like not to where we are now. I'm talking about like from that early, yes, y'all, to like what's some like landmark milestones as far as the culture for you, as far as like lyricism changing, vibe changing, and whatnot?
I saw like you know if you want to talk from yes y'all to just say the Pee Wee dance, Run DMC, that changed the game. You know, Run DMC. I saw the Sucking came out and just was like, that wasn't those FRESH, fresh. That wasn't fresh. You know what I'm saying? After when Sucking MCs came out with that 2 years ago, you know, I mean, that right there was like, you couldn't. I remember just standing by the Chinese store and dudes just driving by, constantly hearing that same record, like nonstop. Run DMC. You know, it's like that. That's the way it is. Because before that, you had, you had, not Spider D. I mean, you had like Spoonie G, and you know the Cold Crush, and it was killing at the time. But their time was starting to fade out, and Run DMC's changed the game on that note. And what really changed the game for real for lyricists to me was the I mean, lyrically, to get to really be lyrical, I think it was Nas for me that changed the thought pattern of how you should write your, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
I remember it ain't hard to tell before that.
Live at the barbecue shit?
Well, okay, let's you checking me right now. You're right. Live at the Barbecue, Large Professor, the Main Source album is one of my top 5 or top 10, right? But okay, so in that production era, whoever started in that production era was sampling, some real sampling. I mean, like Bismarcky for me, you know what I'm saying? Bismarck, you know what I'm saying? Make the Music with the Mouth Biz was something serious when it came out. It wasn't a joke. I mean, we used to go to Montego Bay and that song come on. But I'm gonna tell you what took me to a different level was Ultramagnetic.
A lot of people mention that album.
When I heard Ego Tripping, I was like, yo, these dudes, I don't think they're rhyming. They're doing something else. And it was way over people's head. And I was just like, this is raw right here. This is what, to me, that's what it sounded like. You know what I'm saying? And then having like Chuck Chill Out be the first person to play UFO and all the break beats, Nautilus and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of triggered me on what is that sound? You know what I'm saying? That you know, DJ's cutting. I mean, like, those were all great feeling records at the time. Like you couldn't. And then Rakim dropped the, you know, Eric B. as President, the Nas, Main Source, Jungle Brothers. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like.
You know, I feel you. I mean, for me, the start is really is paid in full as far as like when shit personally, like to me, when it changed, when Cat started really. I mean, because obviously Rakim took it to another level, and then and then Illmatic comes out. You know what I mean? And it was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Let's go back for a minute though to
what up, Juice Jones?
Early Dooley-O, early Steezo, pre everything, pre sleeping bag. So, because I'm curious about the sample, the skull snap sample.
Okay.
I've read some contradicting things about that. So like, clear that up for me. Like, as far as how that sample came to be, that you using that.
All right. So let me introduce like my partner Chris Lowe. I met Chris Lowe playing Pee Wee football. Found out he was a DJ and also a graffiti writer. So me and I hooked up with Chris Lowe, went over his crib. We made this song called Posse Killer, which is the original to the Jungle Brothers Jim Brownski beat. Okay. Not to say that it was out at the same time, but never came out. It was just a tape. You know what I'm saying? Before the Jungle Brothers rocked it, we had gave it that a shot. So that was cool. So then Steezo got down. We went to this party at this spot called Brickenwood, and EPMD was there, and Parrish Smith was, you know, he went to Southern Connecticut, which
so exactly right. Okay, so that's where I want to get there. So, and that's always intrigued me because I went to Southern. So I'm like, so both did Eric Sermon go to Southern too, or just Parrish?
Just Parrish.
Okay, so he was at Southern.
He was at Southern, and somebody knew him, so they booked the show. This is when their record came out, and it was hot. I think, matter of fact, yeah, it was a hot record right when it just came out. So me, Steve, and the crew of us, we went over to the Brickenwood to check out EPMD.
Right.
And the crazy part about it, I think that same night Bismarck was there. And the crazy thing about it was they dancers. If you, I don't know if you've seen a couple. They had 2 dancers, you know, and it was good, but they wasn't nicer than Steezo. Cause Steve, they was dancing, and Steve was like, "Man, this is corny, man." Steve started doing that Steezo on him because he was already known as, you know, a b-boy, a dancer. You know, Steve's come to the party and ripped the party in half. You know what I'm saying? Back then, so
Rest in peace, Steezo, man. That's that nigga used to cut my hair. That's
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you know, Steve used to come to the party and rip it, and so he started showing while Paris was rhyming. I can see Paris looking at Steve the whole time, like, yeah, we're gonna talk to this dude. So at the end of the night, they started talking to him, and at this time, Steve lived with me, you know, in the basement. You know what I'm saying? He lived with me at the crib, and you know, they used to, after they talked, they used to come to the crib and pick him up. They used to pick him up from the crib. We used to wash dishes at the Graduate Club for Yale together. They used to pick him up at the Graduate Club. We got a show, Steve, come through. Come on, leave them dishes. Steve be like, yo, dude, wash the dishes for me, man. Yo, man, I gotta go do this show, man. I was like, damn, man, all right, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. So, you know, that's how that whole thing started. And next thing you know, this dude never came back. They was on tour for a while. He came back with a couple of rings that had the big flying saucer on the ring and everything. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I mean, there's more to that. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically how he got his career with EPMD.
So then, okay, so like the logical question would be, where were you in all of this, and like,
good question.
What was going on with, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
good. Yeah, what happened? Okay, so that's a very good question there. So what happened was like this. So okay, now I'm washing dishes, right? So and Chris Lowe is washing this. He the prep cook. You know what I'm saying? DJ Chris Lowe was the prep cook. So, you know, we started, you know, getting more, you know, fellowship, you know what I'm saying, becoming brothers. And we go to the crib and we make another song called Crazy Noise, which is the same song that's on Steezo's album. Okay. I did that first. And then Steezo at this time got kicked off the tour from EPMD. He started beefing. Because Steve would take the spotlight. Steve, if you're not moving fast enough, he'll take the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? That's how he was. So, with said, so me and Chris made Crazy Noise. You know what I'm saying? I brought Crazy Noise up to Virgil Sims at Sleeping Bag. When I got there, Virgil Sims, I was like, "Can I see Virgil Sims?" And he was like, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, you know, Steve, my cousin Steve, dancer for EPMD. He said, you the A&R guy, and I want you to listen to this tape." And he said, "Nah, I ain't listening to no tape. I ain't listening to tape." He said, "Just leave it." And I said, "Well, nah, I ain't gonna leave it, man. I'm straight. Because I keep hearing stories. Steve would tell me that Steve would go up to Sleeping Bag. We should go up to Sleeping Bag with Steezo, look inside crates, and snatch a whole bunch of tapes that they was throwing out, and put them in the car and be like, damn, how come they ain't signing these niggas?" Yo, it was mad. It was so disgusting, man. He's like, damn, why this is hot? Like, it used to be tapes in a crate ready to go in the trash. Right? I wish I would have kept them tapes, bro. I swear. So anyway, real quick. So anyway, I'm going back downstairs. As soon as I walk out the door, Virgil Sims called me up from the window. Yo. I'm like, he's like, yo, come back up. I'm like, oh shit, all right, maybe you want to fuck with me now. So I came up, and then when I got there, Eric Sherman was there. He was sitting, but he recognized me from picking up Steezo at the crib. He was like, "Yo, what up? What you doing up here?" I said, "Y'all got a song." He said, "Where? Pop that shit in." So we popped that shit in. I said, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." Me and my boys, we making crazy noise. Ha, ha, ha. And yo, Eric was like, "Yo, this shit is crazy, son. Yo, Virgil. Yo, this shit is hot. Sign this nigga right now." And Virgil was just like, you know, feeling me out, but for some reason the dude didn't like me, right? So I left the tape. I called Virgil. Nothing went through. He was like, yeah, whatever. You know, I'll get back to you. Never did. So at this time, I'm back at the crib. Then Steezo got kicked off the tour, so I'm talking to Steve. He was like, yo, Was good. And I said, yeah, I went to Virgil Sims, but he said the tape was whack. He said, word. He said, let me listen to it. He listened to it. He was like, yo, I got to get on that joint. I said, you want to get on this? He said, yeah. So he said, this way, if I'm on it, I got a good relationship with him. We can get you in there. We can get us in there as a group. KGB. So, okay. So we did Crazy Noise over at Charlie Marauders in Long Island. Brought the tape back. This is a professional studio now. Before it was a, 4-track or, no, it wasn't even a cassette or something. I don't know how we even did the other song. So we went back to Sleeping Bag and, no, matter of fact, we didn't go back to Sleeping Bag. Steezo went back to Sleeping Bag. And when Steezo went back to Sleeping Bag, he came back and said, Virgil Sims didn't like your voice. I said, okay. So, all right, you ready for this one? So now, the crazy part now, Steve's like, yo, I'm gonna do my own thing now. I'm gonna do my own thing now. All right, no big deal. You've been doing, because he was already a solo type of dude when we used to do the rap contest at Montego Bay. He was already, winning stuff like that. So I said, okay, Steve, no big deal, because I hold my own. So it was 2 songs we did. We did Crazy Noise and Talking Sense on the album, right? So at this time, I booked, me and my boy Chris Lowe. So we we using break beats, but everybody at this time is starting to use all the break beats. So it's like there's nothing that you could hide from anymore because the breakbeat volumes are out. So if you pick one, you're going to sound like everybody else. So it was like, well, these groups got to have more than just one song. So then we heard about a list of all the ultimate breaks and beats, the list that they had out. So we took the list. We found the list from the distributor in Hamden. He had the list. So we started looking at the list like, okay. So, he got this song, that song. Now we got to start, getting the albums from somewhere.
Right.
So, lucky I was kind of smart enough to be like, let's look in the phone book, see if there's a record store around. And it was Replay Records. Okay. So we went up there, grabbed a couple of records, bought some records just to check it out. And then looked on the wall, there was a record convention. Oh, there's conventions for this thing? Yeah, you should go to convention. All right, cool. Check it out. Took the flyer. But when we got home, I asked my neighbor, Miss Brown, I said, Miss Brown, do you have any records? She said, yeah, I got a whole bunch of records in the basement you can have. We ain't using them. So me and Chris Lowe went down to the basement. And when we opened up the suitcase, it had mad 45s. The suitcase funded Steezo's It's My Turn album to the max. Okay? It funded all that, right? Skull Snaps was in another rack of records. So we picked up the Skull Snap record. I didn't know what it was. It looked like a rock record. Went over to Chris Lowe's house. He played it. I was like, oh, that's dope. That's a tight beat. All right. I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? It was a tight beat. And then we heard the Ike and Tina Turner, the Bold Soul Sister. I was like, oh, okay. That's tight too. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, Chris, play with those 2 right there. Because Chris, Chris was a producer. I was the rapper. I said, play with those 2 right there. And he had a couple more. It was a whole bunch of little beats in there, little dope stuff. So he was nice with the pause taping and stuff like that. So he come back to me. I got those 2 songs he said put together. It was just tight. So then we went in the studio. And at the same time we in the studio, Steezo was in the next room doing the other songs that we already did. So I said, yo, let me rock these. I said, well, you here now. Go ahead and rock Crazy Noise. This shit's old. That shit is old. It ain't get us no deal. That shit ain't gonna work anyway. I'm working on some new shit. So that's when I worked with that shit. Watch My Moves. I came up with Watch My Moves by seeing my boy Freddie in high school walking around. So what's up, Dooley-O? What up? He was like, don't watch me. Watch My Moves. And I was like, ooh, I like that. That's slick right there. So that's how I came up with Watch My Moves. My boy Fred G. And so we rocked it. Steve came out. He said, yo, that shit fresh, yo. That shit fresh. So the whole time, so now so after that, we went up to UNH Radio. Check this out. We went up to UNH Radio, right? Steezo played his songs, and Tuski said, yo, when your record come out? He said, man, it's coming out. It's coming out like about 2-3 months from now. I got a deal. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, this nigga lying and shit. But you know, he was predicting his own future. I should have been saying that, yo, yeah, it's coming out next week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You talking in existence is gonna work. So I played my joint. And yo, Cats taped it in New Haven, right? Cats taped it and was just like, yo, that shit is crazy, man. That shit hot. So many people taped it that these dudes from DNA Records bit the song and called it Don't Sweat Me, Sweat My Moves, and brought it the next week after. The next week after, these dudes had a song called Don't Sweat Me, Sweat My Moves. And it's on YouTube right now. You go to YouTube right now, type in Paul C, Don't Sweat Me, Sweat My Moves. Queued up by Paul C. And Paul C didn't know we had that beat until we brought Skull Snaps up there. And you can ask Large Professor. Cause when I first, I didn't meet Large Professor I haven't never met him. And I recently met him the last 3 years ago. He was like, yo, we used to me and Paul C used to play your tapes all the time. I was like, word? I was like, yo, that's what's up, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like, but so it was queued up by Paul C with these dudes. The next that same night, I went to the radio station. These dudes keep denying it. I went to the radio station, yo, man, that's my song, B. That's my song. And I was like, okay, well, if that's your song, what beat is that? What hook is that? What all this stuff? I was like, come on, man. Because they went to UNH College where Tuski had a radio show. So they taped it that night, studied it, went back, DNA Records, that was they cut their nephew's uncle, whatever. Long time ago, no disrespect to the dudes, but you know, history is history, and I wanted to clarify a little something like that. So it wasn't Steezo wasn't the first to grab his hands on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what I had heard, but some things like that. So I'm glad you cleared that up. And this is, you know what I'm saying? This is important because it's another case of industry fuckery and bullshit, like hampering solid cats in the game. Yo, like you almost gotta have like a ruthless streak to be in this fucking shit, man. Like as an artist, like a cutthroat. Like I don't give a fuck about you, because that's what it seems like to me anyway. I mean, I'm not an artist in this shit, but that's what it seems. Because then I was reading about your recent the tour, not recent, but it was in 2015, where you went to like Europe and shit, and all the shows, like 10 out of the 13 shows were fucking canceled. And I was stuck. Listen, the crazy part is my wife was maybe 3 months pregnant, right? So that's already. So you know there was that's already a challenge right there, son, to get the fuck out the crib. Son, you know it was a beef already going. I said, babe, these wheels been turning since last year. I can't stop it. If I would have knew them shows was canceled when I got off that plane, I would have turned back around. But I couldn't. I called the airport. I found out 10 shows were canceled. Called the airport and be like, yo, I want to go home. What's the next flight out? I got a ticket. They like, sure, Mr. Jackson, that'll be $1,500. I said, well, I guess I'm staying for 3 weeks and a half. They had one show once a week when I was supposed to have 4 to 5 a week. See, this is some shit you learn. Like I learned not to go across that pond unless they paying half up front, or they guaranteeing me money. Like my peoples that put it in place should have had that money guaranteed. At least if they don't commit on their side, they still gotta pay at least half. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to come home with like 15 G's. Came home probably like maybe 500. Wow. But luckily, my ass was, once in a while, I'm a smart dude. Luckily, I was smart enough to pay my bills twice in advance before I left. So wifey can't say nothing. Nobody can say nothing. The bills got to get paid. Because when you come home, that light bill, that mortgage is going to come right back at you. If you ain't got no money in your pocket, you hit. So luckily, I paid that before I left. Okay, so let's go back. That's for us another story. Yeah. No, I was going to say, I read about that. But it's, again, just to point out, the industry fuckery, man, or just the mishaps, not even sometimes fuckery, but like I always say, man, like you got to catch breaks in this shit, man, like as well. Like you can be talented, but think about the era that we came up in, man. and all of the cats that didn't make it out, like in terms of that were nice, that didn't make it out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like in basketball. You can think of niggas, 20 niggas in New Haven that were like, yo, this cat was an NBA type nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it goes back to saying, like, you gotta catch some breaks in this too, man. It's not just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not, if it were solely based on talent, the tables would be turned in a lot of ways.
It's not based on talent. It's based on, one thing is who you know. 3 is if the machine wants you. That's it. If the machine wants you, you're gonna make it. If the machine not feeling you, he don't want to deal with you. Because you gotta understand, there's a lot of people that just get, you be like, how is this person getting this? I just don't understand. I don't see what everybody's saying. It's not what, it doesn't matter. It's the machine. Right, the machine wants you. It's gonna make you somebody, make you rich, gonna make you big the way you want to be. See, with me, I always felt that my music I never wanted to like make music to make people feel like they got to dance to it, or to make people feel that it's a commercial enough song where I got to start putting I got to rap about girls every 5 seconds. You understand what I'm saying? I got, like, nowadays, if a nigga don't, if he not singing about a chick or not rapping about a chick or saying anything about a chick, he ain't gonna survive on the radio. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's a totally different animal. But, you know, my thing is that I never subjected to I felt like I like real hip hop, put like that. I like raw beats, ugly fucking rhymes, wild looking motherfuckers in the video, you know, grimy. That 90, that jazz funk shit, that's slow. The boom, 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 boom. That shit right there, that put a fucking hair on your back of your neck, and you be like, God, that shit is raw.
What you feel about this? What you feel about the drumless trend in producing these days, man?
I hate it. I can't stand the drum patterns. I can't stand the producers. All they doing is, actually, I think they're just sampling from each other. There's a couple of cats that take that shit to the next level, which I do give them credit for, but they not hitting. You understand what I'm saying? They not in the machine. They not on the radio playing, doing what they doing. They like on the gram going nuts. You know what I'm saying? I like them type of dudes, but I don't like what everybody else is doing. It's the same sound. It's boring. It's corny. You know, I DJ, and sometimes I get forced, if I get cornered and forced to have to play something like that, right? So I sit there and play and go, when's this shit over with?
Right.
And it fucking totally fucks up my whole drive on DJing. If I gotta sit there and subject to playing that shit, okay, I'm gonna give y'all this whole thing, and I'm never coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I cut a lot of people off. Some people say, "Oh, you got bougie on us." I said, "No, I just don't want to play fucking dumb ass music." You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see a bitch twerking every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I like to see some ass and titties. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to see a bitch on the floor. Sometimes it just looks kind of crazy. Like, bitch, you look disgusting. Get your ass up. Stop twerking and get to working.
Facts. Nah. Yeah, I mean, to me, hip hop means drums, man. I mean, like, there's nothing like getting a nod factor, man. There's nothing like a fucking beat that gets you going, and then an MC riding that shit. There's nothing like that. And as far as I'm concerned, the drumless shit makes it easy for cats to talk over that shit and not really spit. They can just say a lot of different words and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And just a lot of ad-libs and a lot of, like, you know, quick hits, but they're not spitting. So, yeah, I don't. That's not my thing. As far as our submission guidelines go and shit like that, like, one of them is like, yo, no drumless beats, man. Like, fuck out of here. We don't rock with that shit. So, you know,
like, you know, I've really been like, you know, thanks to COVID, I really had to tap into myself, and I'm still tapping into myself, honestly. I've gotten more creative. I've been doing more, you know what I'm saying, because I'm kind of like pinned in the house, right? And I was saying to myself, I said, man, you know, I don't really want to go out. I said, this thing is tomorrow or next week or whatever, I'm not really rushing to go and DJ just to play the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, and DJs would be like, yo, you just go and get paid. You know what I mean? I says, you know, man, there's other ways to get paid with me playing the bullshit and keep feeding our people that dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? I really feel that the music now is not touching. It's not touching the soul of our people. All it's doing is destructive.
Let's
You
go
know?
back to this, man, because in 2006, you were interviewed and somebody asked you, rap rules in 2006 or rap sucks in 2006. And you said, depends. I'm not interested in any booty club, sell drugs, crap. It's killing the minds of just not just blacks, but all the youth. Everybody's too hard. So I was going to ask you, do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way, but you know, at this point, I don't care anymore about what people are listening to. You know what I mean? I really don't care. I mean, because they got options now, so there's no excuses. You like garbage? You know, I seen a dude on YouTube. He said, "Well, if they want garbage, here it is. I'm gonna feed you garbage and get paid." That's not me. But I'm not interested if people. I just don't want to be around that like-minded people. If you like, you know, if that's your thing, then you know, be you and do you. I don't have to be there for that. I'd rather be in the corner spinning house music all night than listening to some bullshit ass trap party. I went to a few trap parties and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this shit is really existing. This is
No,
really. I was like 50 Cent came to. I forgot where he came to some club down here, and it was a walkthrough. But all the songs before 50 got on was horrible, and I was just sitting there going, wow, this is you know,
this
because
is what
I
it
hip
is.
hop thing, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, wow, like this what makes people turn up.
This
This
is
is
what it is. We come from the
right.
10 times. We come from the 10 times dope days. You know what I'm saying? It's this is what it is. But you know, now you just got to pay attention. Listen, I always say, man, that we were lucky growing up. Like we weren't. We just happened to be born when we were born. Like you know what I'm saying? And the dope shit was the real shit. It was on the radio. It was on the fucking. It was on Arsenio Hall. They were breaking tracks on Arsenio Hall in living color. Like it was different. You could turn on shit and see like the illest shit of all time, like on TV right after school. Like it was different, man. So you know, it was special, and that's what you know separates a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I want to get into the graffiti shit a little bit, because that's intrigued me a little bit about you. Like, how did you get into that? Like, and just you know, like what's going on with that? What's good? Tell me about a little bit about the graffiti TV and everything too.
All right, so I got into graffiti doing you know, rapping and breakdancing. One day I went to my school. They tagged up the school. I thought it was horrible. It was garbage. Next day I went back. Somebody came back and did an ill-ass piece. It was an Izzy piece. It came off the ground. It was all silver and black. And back then, you know, it looked crazy dope. I was like, yo, I like that right there. That's the shit I want to do. So then I started, you know, doing my own little, trying to do some graffiti. And then there was this dude named Slim who lived in the jungle, older cat, and he was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'll take you under my wing. You know what I'm saying? So then me and him kind of hooked up. He showed me outlines and black books, and then he showed me the Star Wars movie. I saw Wild Style, and after I seen Wild Style, I knew like hip hop is what I wanted to do, because the feeling I got out of watching Wild Style was like, yo, this is some real hip hop shit. A lot of people don't really talk too much about Wild Style like that, which, you know, which to me is kind of whack. You know what I'm saying? They'll mention it, but then they don't really, like, I grasped the full essence of that. That was some real shit right there. You know what I'm saying? It was no cut, no corners in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, when you watch Beat Street, you know, you see this guy DJing, and, you know, Ramon wasn't the best graffiti artist at the time. There was way better dudes than him.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? But people held him on a high standard. I was nicer than Ramon back then. You know what I'm saying? But you know, being that Hollywood is what it does to, you know, our culture, like, you know, it basically destroyed breakdancing for a while when they came out with Breaking 1 or Breaking 2, because everybody from on the East Coast didn't look like that. We ain't had them baggy pants on with the spike belts and you know, the The
That was a
Mr.
different stage. Yeah, that was different
Yeah,
stage.
I mean, yeah, but you understand, but you know, that was their thing out there. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
no, no respect, man. They held
all
it down out
respect to
there.
that.
Big
But
up
you know, from
Pop,
the
Pop and Taco. I mean, there's a lot of cats, respect due. I mean, like, but it's a different flavor.
right, right. It was a different flavor, but I had to, they was nice though with the Electric Boogaloo. I can't front on that.
Come
The
on, of
breaking,
course.
but Electric Boogaloo, they killed that. But you know, I, I just feel like, you know, I saw the real essence of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I got injected with it at a younger age, so I saw it from the beginning until, you know, what's going on now.
You wrote Brat, right? Is that
Right.
you?
Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. I got.
Yeah, we were talking about Graph. That's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good.
So I still write Brat, BRAT. You know what I'm saying? I write Brat. You know, I don't do the old Brat things. You know, writing on cop cars, doing trains and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Train yards with niggas from the Bronx and shit like that. I don't do that. I don't do that no more. I'm tempting to do it. You know, I'd be wanting to do it. I'm itching to do it sometimes. But you know, after a while, I was doing a lot of graffiti because see what happened is now we putting out all these. Now we did the Skull Snaps beat. We take it up to back up to Sleeping Bag. They didn't want to mess with it. He wanted me to give that song to Steezo. And I was like, well, if you want me to give it to Steezo, you gotta give me 20 grand. And Virgil was like, I'm not giving you 20 grand. I said, well, you don't want the song. You don't want the song. So then I took the song over to Select Records. So I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm not on the Steezo's album cover. Because when I was going on to the train station, I saw Steezo, Chris Lowe, and Jim. He was like, yo, we about to go, you know, get on the album. We about to do the album cover. You coming? I was like, nah, because I already had planned to go meet some people at different record companies that day. And I said, if I go on this album cover, you know, I might mess up my chance. So, but the album cover would have made more sense now. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway.
Hindsight is always 2020.
2020. So I went up to Select Records, met Greg Rouse up there. He listened to the tape, said he gonna call me in a week, call back, say, yo, they passed on the song. Profile Records, Dan Charnez, got hooked up with him, went up to Profile. He tried to pitch it, they passed on it. Okay, so all this time, all this stuff is like, okay, I might not got it. I'm like, I might not, I might be whack. You know what I'm saying? So I end up hooking up with Steve Manning, which is Michael Jackson publicist, and he got me a record deal probably 3 years after Steezo's deal. Now Steezo's going down. I just got a record deal with this label called Tab Dash Records, which was the original home of R. Kelly, right? And this dude was now.
Yeah, more fuckery.
More fuckery, but this fuckery was actually good, actually. Because Tab Dash Records, right, off the top, they gave me $5 grand in '88. This spot was on top of Harlem, on top of the Apollo, right? The dude was a Dominican dude, older dude.
Mm.
He had a briefcase. He had a Biz emblem. His name is David High. If you look up David High, he was in the Fez magazine. This dude pulled out 5 stacks, slid it to me, gave me the contract. I brought the contract home, came back, signed it, had his 5 stacks. Boom. I'm on, right? I'm like, yo, I'm good. I'm spending 5 stacks, whatever, right? In '88. So now, what happened? So the record never came out. We went to Florida to record the album and everything. Luckily, I took my reel to reels. When I left Florida, they was like, yo, keep your reels. I said, nah, I'm taking my shit home with me. I don't know what y'all talking about. So I took my shit back home. We stayed in Florida for a month, doing the music, doing the album. That shit never came out. And at this time, Steezo didn't have a deal. So I brought Steezo up to Tab Dash Records. First day, Steve walked in there. He came out that office smiling. That nigga had 5 stacks in his pocket. I said, you signed that contract. He said, hell yeah, I need this money. Yo. So, you know, over the time, I kept getting the 5 stacks, like, periodically. Within like a year, then another year, you get another 5 stacks. They were just laundering the money. And at the end of the whole thing, I found out, you know, watching the Alpo tapes, some of the dudes that's on the Alpo tapes was affiliated with the Dominican dude. So you got to look at, like, what God must have been on our side to let us walk out on 125th with 5 stacks in our pocket, and other motherfuckers know that we had that 5 stacks. Now walking to the train station to get back to Connecticut.
Wow.
More than once, bro. More than once.
Wow.
And when I say, damn, I said, because the Dominican dude that he was talking about, that I think AZ was talking about, it was David Hyde. To go up there and get it from the Dominicans. And I used to be like, damn.
Damn, Jules with Dooley-O.
How fucking close. How, you know, yo, I couldn't believe it after watching that, right? So, okay, so now spiral, going downward, no records, no nothing, right? I'm chilling. I'm just doing graffiti crazy, right? So I got to express myself. That's who I am. So I'm doing graffiti. And then I saw these 2 dudes that had on a public access channel called Underground News. My boy Reese and Justice. And all they did was go get on the microphone on TV and just go up to people and say, yo, where you from? Represent where you from. And they'll be like, yo, we from Bridgeport. You know what I'm saying? So and so and so. Or shout out to Bridgeport. And they'll go to the next person. Where you from? And put them on camera. I was like, yo, there's more to doing this, man, than that. Then they'll say, yo, you should do your own show then. I said, I will. So I went down. Justice told me, I said, well, how do I get my show on TV? They was like, just go take the class at Citizen Television. Citizen Television. I said, okay. So I looked it up, went down there, took the courses, and I said, I'm going to do a show called Graffiti TV. So when I finished the course, they let you take out the cameras and stuff. Now, believe me, I still ain't know how to work the camera or whatever. So I took the camera out. We shot Graffiti TV, and, you know, people loved it. I thought it was crazy. I got my own TV show. I'm on TV on Sunday nights. That's crazy to me, right? Okay. So we do the beat segment. We do Graffiti TV in the Elm City, hip-hop in Elm City, local parties, everything. You know, we do 10 shows straight. And then my boy Vinny from 10 Times Dope was like, yo, why don't you make a 1-hour tape like those other dudes? Videograph. Your stuff hotter than that. I was like, you think so? He's like, yeah, you should do it. You know, he's gassing me up, so I make the tape. I make a 1-hour tape, went to the spot in New York, showed him the tape. He sat on it for the night, called me the next day. He's like, yo, give me 20 of those. I sent one out to the store in Boston. They said, yo, give me 30 of those. I said, oh, shit. So next thing you know, 40 of those. Tower Records finally called.
Which tape was it? This was y'all writing where? Like, cause you was writing in New York too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Once I hooked up with New York writers, I was writing a little bit, but I wasn't crazy none. I was just there at the spot when they was doing it. I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going back for revenge and none of that shit.
Right. So
yeah.
so this was mostly like Connecticut shit.
Right. The first tape was Connecticut shit, and then I got and once that tape started, you know, fizzing down for the next year, I went to New York and started hooking up with New York cat because I started like in graffiti magazines, they always had stores. Like stores would put an ad in the magazine, and I should be like, every time I picked up a magazine, it was a different store from like Tennessee, and I would say like, yo, my name Dooley-O. I sent them a tape, everything, and they would call me back and say, yo, we need like 10 of those. Let's try 10. Then call me back a week later, yo, give me 20. And this time, the tapes are $10 at a pop in 93, 94, right?
Yeah.
The tapes are $10 at a pop, 20 in the store. I still sell my tapes for like $20. My DVDs for $20. It's crazy, right? So, with said, that's how Graffiti TV started. It started from the
so were you filming it the whole time? Is that you? Like, I mean,
yeah.
So that was you filming everything.
That was me filming everything. I was the first to go to Canada, to film graffiti in Canada. I exposed Rochester, New York. I went to Cincinnati. I went to St. Louis. I went to LA. I went to San Francisco. New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts. You know, pretty much not everywhere, but enough. The only place I didn't get a chance to go was Chicago. That was the only place I wanted to go. But
so you were doing you were doing the filming then.
I was doing the filming. I had my boy John Kennedy, who is dude I used to work with. See, I used to work at a graphic place, so doing the covers was on me. I could do the covers at the job. Now I had to send the VHS tapes out to get duplicated. And it was $3 a pop. So for 100, you had to have $300 or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So I had my boy John Kennedy with me and said, "Yo, I needed like 200." This was on number 4, and he gave me some bread, and he helped me boost it, you know, to go further. Then I gave him his money back, and I just kept flipping every time. I know I had to start off with like 200 tapes or something like that. I know once them tapes keep coming, the money come back in, just flip it, keep flipping, back and forth, back and forth. Don't trick the money up. Until I got to like my 7th tape, I was doing good. I had my own store in Bridgeport called The Bridge, selling graffiti products, selling skateboards, selling old school pro heads, beats, records, everything, right? I had a whole thing going. Doing good. Fucking around, start tricking the money up. That's where you go wrong. Yo, let me get this 1965 caddy. It goes with the rep. 400 in the caddy, 600 in the caddy, 1,000 in the caddy. Now I'm like, okay, well, you ain't got no bread right now to re-up. What you gonna do? And then the freaking duplicator got too happy with me. He was like, yo, you ain't got to spend no money. Just give us the money back. We'll duplicate them for you and give us the money back. I wasn't on no drugs or nothing. Believe me, I was just careless with the money. I got too happy. I got a little paper, and I was like, okay, we good now. The distributor, I said, damn, nigga, you got to pay him back. You got to pay him back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't pay him back. I came out with tape numbers. One of the tapes didn't do good at all. It was whack or something, or people wasn't really feel. It didn't catch on, or I didn't advertise it enough. And I never got that refund back. I never got the money back. So then when I got to 8 was distributed by a Canadian company. And when I got to GTV, 9 got distributed by another company. And that's when the internet came out. And that's what kind of killed GTV for me, because I was just like, they showing videos of Graph. They're showing the magazines and no more. Those disappeared. What am I going to do? Everything's supposed to be free. I'm not working for free. So I just fell back on it for like 20 years.
So what are you doing with it now? I've been seeing some stuff. I followed the page. I mean, what's good with it now?
Well, basically, you know, Cat's been like kind of really like hollering at me. Like, seriously, some dude's starting to threaten me. He's like, yo, man, when you gonna put them on DVD for release, man? I was like, man, ain't nobody buying no DVDs, man. What I'm gonna do with DVDs? Right? So I put them out on DVD. Right? I said, let me do it. Because I really had to sit here and figure out how I'm gonna make the DVD. I can't do 9 videos at once because that's gonna cost like about 10 G's to do. I don't have that type of bread. You know what I'm saying? So what I did, I got a duplicator, a stamp, and I said, well, damn it, if a bootlegger could do it, how can I do it?
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? So I end up figuring out, okay, I'll go to Staples, get my color copies. I'll go get the GTV stamps, stamp the DVD. I'll stamp this and make it nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? Now you can do anything because it's on gram.
Of course, you can do everything.
You want to start a company, just watch the gram for a good 2 hours. You'll be like, I can make hats. I can make beanies.
Yeah,
no one can tell you how to make a beanie.
Of course, you can do anything you want. Stickers, anything. Don't matter.
You can do anything. Hold on. You can do anything you want. So yeah, I'm trying to get more stuff, but yeah, like this here, you know, these are the old tapes. These are the VHS joints. Graffiti TV, the best of 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, you know what I'm saying? Look, you know what I'm saying? VHS number 4. Number 5, you know what I'm saying? Number 6. This is my life, you know what I'm saying? At one point. That was it. I wasn't even working. I had my own store. I had everything. You know what I'm saying? So now, Cass was like, yo, when you gonna put the shit out? So I put them out. I finally, you know, now you can put the website up or a merch page, and motherfuckers start ordering.
How are they doing?
They're doing good. It slowed up a little bit in October, but off the gate, they're doing real good. I was impressed. I was impressed. I was like, yo, Cass is still buying DVDs. You know, and one thing about coming from Connecticut, you kind of like in this square, you know what I'm saying? You don't really know what's going on in the outside world. You kind of like, because the folks here, they don't move like everybody else move, like in a bigger city or something like that. This is small, you know, I come from a small town, you know what I'm saying? A rugged town, but it's just like, you know, it's like follow the leader. Whatever's happening in New York, that's what we're gonna follow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's, you know.
I mean, that's I mean, we're right there, so it makes sense. Real quick before we get out of here, I'm gonna ask you, yo, first of all, I'm mad at you. You ain't telling me about the new joint you had out this year. I mean, the EP was the EP's file, this instrumental joint.
Oh yeah. I snuck that out on people, man. I snuck that out.
When you dropped that shit?
I dropped that in August.
I ain't telling nobody. There's some joints on here, man. I like that. I like that joint.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and yeah, it's called the EPS files. It's all the joints from the EPS computer and stuff like that. I'm gonna show you something where they want to joints at right there. Those samplers right there, the EPS files. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got mad discs from the '90s in them joints. I got a whole bunch of discs from the '90s that I did that I unreleased that never made it to a rap record or anything. So I got more to come. So look out for more of the EPS files.
Fact.
Yo, but you know what though, I appreciate what you do. I'm going to tell you about this very much, man. I love your honesty, because a lot of cats, they scared, they bite their tongue. They've been biting their tongue. You the only dude online, probably the only dude that really stresses the fact that, yo, a lot of shit is fucking corny. And, yo, I salute you. I'm proud of what you're doing, bro. I'm happy to be a part of this. I'm excited. This is like the Academy Awards for me right now, bro.
Yo, coming from you, that means a lot, man, because like I said, your name rang bells all over the state, man. And it's like, for me, you one of my OGs, man, like in terms of that shit. And so like, it's important to me, important that people understand and know like what you've done and what you've accomplished in this shit, and that you've been holding it fucking down. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just because people don't know shit, that don't matter. So it's really important, man. It's like I said, like, yeah, I didn't, you know, like you're almost a decade older than me. So like you were there for some critical shit. So like the respect is mutual. It's always been there, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like I was just like 16, 17, niggas. I go to like Bridgeport, New Haven, whatever, like I heard Dooley-O. Like I didn't even know, but then, you know what I'm saying? Like we linked up to some mutual people and stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I have a platform where I can share this with people, and it's great that people can fucking hear this shit and understand like what really goes on. So we're about to get cut off. I don't want to lose this show. Dooley-O, we're gonna do it again, man. You know what I'm saying? All right.
All right, my brother.
Peace, Connecticut. Gun waving New Haven all day. 203, baby. All right, baby.